sweetheart, you're so silly. Hi everyone, it's Yesenia. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. I know it's been 2 years since I last posted on this channel, and oh my gosh, has the last 2 years have been such a ride. So much has happened, and I'm really sorry I did kind of leave you guys like high and dry. So this is a life update before we get into the finances, because life is entwined with finances. So if you need to grab a snack, I already ate a snack because I was hungry when I got home from work. Go ahead, grab a snack, grab something to drink. We're gonna be here for a while. So yeah, let's get started. My dog, of course, wants to join us. No, sweetheart, please stop looking at my face. So she's just she'll be here and then she'll get bored and then she'll go to the bed. But let's start from the beginning. So in 2024, which was the last time I posted, oh my gosh, things were so happening in 2024. So I originally started this channel to document my debt-free journey, and lots of things, happened in the last 2 years. So let's first start off in the beginning, why I went on my debt-free journey in the first place. It was actually this one who got me started. Oh my gosh, I'm gonna start crying already. Long story short, my dog had an emergency, found out she was allergic to apples that day. Yeah, that was so rough. So long story short, she went to the emergency room because she had an allergic reaction to a slice of an apple. Every time I tell this story, I'm sorry, this just makes me so mad. People think that I gave her the core. No, I know you're not supposed to feed the dogs the core of the apple. So I cut off the little edge, tiny little edge slice, and that's what I gave her. And her face swelled up 3 times its normal size. That was terrifying. So I took her to the emergency room. They were able to get the swelling down. I didn't have enough money to pay for her visit, and that was extremely heartbreaking. I am so thankful at that time. They just said, hey, pay us later. We're just glad she's okay. And unfortunately, my vet's office doesn't do that anymore. I'm assuming they just offered people too many graces, and too many people took advantage of it, and that's just terrible. So that's what got me thinking about starting the debt-free journey. What really started it, and please, this is no shade to my dad. He was in a different place at this time. I called and asked him for help, and I told him, hey, I will totally pay you back. And he didn't have enough money to help pay for the vet visit. I'm not blaming him. At that time, I did kind of blame him, but now that, my dad went through a lot last year, so I have a better understanding of what he was going through at that time now. So I don't blame him. It wasn't his fault. Ultimately, it's my fault. I'm responsible for her. I brought her in to my home. I have to pay for everything. But he told me he couldn't help me pay for her vet visit. And that was the moment I realized I don't have a backup plan. I am the backup plan. Thus started the debt-free journey. So when I initially started this journey, I had $43,156, I can't remember the change, but $4,156 worth of debt. This debt was spread over 3 credit cards, 1 personal loan, 1 car loan, and my student loans. I actually didn't have that much consumer debt. The credit cards, I didn't have that much debt on them. The car loan, I was actually kind of almost done, not done, but I had paid a good chunk of it off at that point. The personal loan, I actually needed the personal loan. Now, no, let me explain. I really did need that personal loan. So this is what happened. When I graduated from Northeastern with my first master's in exercise science, I was leaving one job and going to another job. Well, when I left Northeastern, they were holding my transcripts and my diploma because I still owed them $3,000, which, that's the rule. But I was starting a new job, and in order to get the extra $13,000, that I was gonna get switching from one job to another job, they needed my transcripts, and I didn't have $3,000, to pay Northeastern so I can get my transcripts. So I took out a personal loan, and then I got that money, And then I immediately paid off Northeastern, and then they took the financial hold off my account. I was able to get my transcripts, send them to HR, and they were able to give me the salary that they offered me. So yes, I actually did need that personal loan. I wasn't moving money around. I wasn't buying all kinds of crazy shit. I needed that money so I could get the extra $13,000 that I really needed. So I was paying off that personal loan too. And then of course, I was still paying off the student loans from my bachelor's. Yes. Ow! Cupcake! Oh, you hit my lip! Why'd you do that? Ow! Okay. Cupcake has returned, and I know she's trying to jump on top of me. Please don't try to see me as being rude to her. She just like jumped on top of me and banged my lip. It still hurts. It shouldn't swell. I really hope it doesn't, but like, yeah, she's really excited. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so those were, so I was still paying off all my student loans for my bachelor's. I left, so I went to Northeastern twice. I went for my bachelor's and my master's, the first master's. When I left with my bachelor's, I had like 40 grand of student loan debt. And then when I started the debt-free journey, I still had $30,000 left. This was the time during the pandemic where the government had put the interest hold and the payment. So like all the student loans were in deferment. So it was not gaining any interest. When I sat down and I looked at my numbers and this is when I started like watching YouTube videos, like The Budget Mom, watch The Budget Mom a lot for my debt-free journey. I still use her tools to this day. I decided to, because they were on hold and I didn't owe anything and they were not collecting interest, I decided to pay off all of my other high interest debt first. And then once I was done, I was going to tackle those, when the time came. So I had 3 credit cards, a Chase credit card, a Best Buy credit card, and a Victoria's Secret credit card. The balances were kind of small on the Best Buy and the Victoria's Secret. The balance on the Chase was kind of high. So I think the Chase one was like $3,000. And then the personal loan, like I said, the total was $3,000. By the time I was on the debt-free journey, I think there was still like $2,000 left. So that one was like a set amount. My car loan, I think I still had like $8,000 to $9,000 on it. That one I can't remember. And then there was $30,000 left in the student loans. So I spent a good like chunk of my years between 2020 and 2024 paying off that debt. In October 2024, I paid everything off. Everything. I actually remember I got the email from Nelnet, so that was my student loan provider. It was like the most amazing feeling ever, because what I did, the last $5,000 of my student loans got forgiven because of the teacher student loan forgiveness program, where like public service, I think it was like a public service provider something anyway. So I applied. Oh my God, guys, I applied 3 times. I'm like, no, $5,000 is a lot of money. We're paying this off, or we're applying. They didn't say no, but they kept saying something's missing, something's not right. You got to reword this, blah blah blah. So my principal's like, because she had to sign off on the forgiveness application. She's like, they still haven't forgiven this? I'm like, no. She's like, it's okay, girl. It's okay. Come back and let me know whenever you need something. I love my principal. When I got the email that the last $5,000 was forgiven. Oh my God, that was the best feeling in the world. Okay, I'm sorry. I know a lot of people like in the finance world, try to say, try to separate emotion from the finances, like looking at the numbers. To a certain extent, I do agree with that. Like, I get that. Like, the math has to math. If the math is not math, and the math is not mathin'. Emotions and behavior are tied with finances. Like, it could keep us going or it could send us down a spiral. So that was, my gosh, that was like one of the best feelings in the world. But during that time, and this is actually the reason why I stopped posting. I was in grad school, so I went back to get my second master's. I went back to get my endorsement in ESL, and then I figured out that all that money and time I poured into getting the ESL endorsement didn't grant me a pay raise, because it was 18 credits, and at my job, you need 30 credits for the pay raise. And I'm like, I might as well just stick it out a little bit longer and, get the pay raise. I could have taken the easy way out. So there was 2 possible paths for me as a high school PE teacher to take. The first path was get the LBS 1 endorsement as well. So I could have taken an extra 4 classes, which honestly would have been the cheaper option and the shorter option. And because ESL and LBS 1, that's what it's called for SPED teachers, it's called learning behavior specialists. Since the modifications are very similar for both students, like in those programs, taking an extra 4 classes and then I could have been done and I could have gotten both and then, would have all been done. But I don't want to be a SPED teacher. Shout out to all the SPED teachers out there. You guys are the real MVPs because I don't know how y'all do it writing those IEPs. I read them. I have to read them. And it's insane. All that legal documentation, it has to be legal document, it has to be written professionally, and shout out to the SPED teachers. You guys are the real MVPs, along with kindergarten teachers. There's a special place in heaven for y'all. Here's the problem with getting your LBS 1. If I transfer to another school or I went to another school, they're going to obviously look up my credentials, and most of the time, instead of they're not going to put me in a PE position, they're going to put me in an LBS 1 because we are super short on LBS 1 teachers. We're very short on SPED teachers here in America. So I'll get put in SPED and then never go back to PE. So as much as I would love to have that endorsement, because I honestly think endorsements like that and helping me to learn how to modify work is very important, I don't want to write IEPs for the rest of my educational career. So I went, the only really other one that was relatable because of my teaching position. If I were an English teacher, then I would have had more options, but I'm not an English teacher. So I chose teacher leadership, and it was an additional 2 years. And oh my goodness, that was such a long ride. And then I actually did finish that program this past September. My official graduation date was September 15th. I went to National Louis, and because of this debt-free journey, paid for that entire master's out of pocket. I don't owe any student loans. So yes, I did pay off debt, and I did cash flow grad school along the way. It was so sad seeing that $1,200 leave my account every month to pay for grad school, but I'm so glad I did it because, and I'll get to this later, I'm currently in another situation, and if I was paying those student loans along with this situation, I think I would have cried. I would have had a total meltdown. I don't know if I would have come back from it. I'll explain later. So that's where we're at. So this year, last year, it's 2026, September 2025, I officially graduated from grad school, and I don't have to pay on that anymore. So then I really started working on my other goals. So there are a couple of goals that I want to have for the future. First one, finish funding my 6-month emergency fund. I'm still trying to decide if I want to keep the $18,000 or adjust for inflation and bring it up to $20,000. I think I'm going to do that. I do have money in other savings accounts, so I'm still deciding on that. And I'm making some very good progress on it. I am now at $13,000, so I just need 5 more, maybe 7 more. Honestly, that's probably just another month of saving for me to reach that goal. So that's my first goal. I want to have a 6-month emergency fund. Things are not looking good in my network. Honestly, we don't know what's going to happen over the next couple of years. Things are they're very weird right now. That I really want to have that fund. The second goal that I want to reach, and I'm still trying to decide on how much money I want to save for this goal. I want to ask my mom, and I want to ask some other people who've bought homes. I want to start saving for a down payment on a condo. So yes, I really want to start getting my first home. I lived at home until I was 29, which I know was long, but I lost my job, had to take a pay cut, so I just stayed home. So I'm actually really glad I stayed home until 29, even though I was really getting annoyed with my dad. As we all do. And then I lived in 2 apartments over the last 7-8 years. So I've been in this apartment for the last 5 years. I'm going to be very honest. My rent hasn't gone up since I moved in here. Why would I leave? So slowly over the years, my income has increased, more than doubled. and my biggest overhead expense is still the same. Well, I am very grateful to my landlords that they haven't raised my rent and I, still get to live here. And listen, it's small. It's definitely small, but it has everything. I'm still a little sad about only having one closet because my old apartment, I went from having 3 closets. Now I have 1, but it's okay. I made it work. I have a patio. I have central air. So my dog is right here. I don't have a pet fee for her. The laundry is free. If I need something, I have a grocery store right here. Like Jewel is right there. Ulta is right there. There's a Walgreens within walking distance. The 2 gyms that I work at are within walking distance. So like, why would I leave? And that is something like I did learn in these financial YouTube videos over the years is, yes, listen, the little expenses do count. For example, there was one time I bought a coffee and I was very upset because it was $7.50. Like, why? That was, no. My coffee order from Dunkin' Donuts used to cost $3.50 and then it went up to $7.50. I was very upset. So when I told my students about this, because of course I was upset about it, they're like, well, what's the big deal? Like, it's not that bad. And then the English department teachers, like, they were buying coffee every day and the kids were like, oh, well, it's not that bad. So I told them, okay, listen, let's do some math. $7.50, and let's say there's 20 working days in a month, right? 5 days a week, 4 weeks, 20 working days in a month. 7.5 times 20 actually equals 150. And my Keurig machine, it's all the way over there in the kitchen. Don't mind my double air fryer, but it's behind there. Oh, look, there she is. Hi, Monkey. You're so cute. But my Keurig coffee maker, which was the carafe, like it's both the carafe and the Keurig single serve, that was $150. So I told this to the kids, they're like, oh, so you spent $150 now buying a coffee machine, and now you can make your own at home for cheaper. I'm like, yes, that's exactly it. So I forgot where I was going with this. Oh, that's what I was saying. So yeah, the little expenses, they do add up over time. Like $150 a month on coffee is a lot of money. And I also save $150 a month to go on vacation once a year. So I told this to the kids too. I'm like, so I can buy coffee every day, or I can save that money and then travel for a week once a year. And honestly, I'd rather travel. Yeah. So I told them, like, it's all about your priorities and what you want out of life. So I like to travel. I like to do other things. Coffee is honestly not that important to me. I just drink it for the emotional support at this point. I can drink a cup of coffee and then fall asleep like 20 minutes after. Caffeine doesn't really work for me. That's what happens when you've been teaching for 12 years, almost 12 years. Anyway, what really eats up a budget is housing and cars. So right now I don't have a car payment, but I do have a situation with my car, which I'm going to explain. And then rent, mortgage. Like, those are our 2 biggest expenses every month. I actually can afford a more expensive apartment. If I really wanted to, I can go up to $2,000 because that's a third of my income, but I don't want to. 1, that's a lot of money. Like, I could save the $650 difference. And then 2, moving costs money, getting the U-Haul, buying the materials. Me and my family, we're getting older. I can't really rely on them to help me lift and move heavy things anymore. So next time I am gonna like hire movers because my book collection has gotten a little out of control. Movers are expensive, right? And then what I did when I moved in here, I saved up extra money to help, like, because I received 2 electric bills. I did receive 2 gas bills because I had to close out the one from my old apartment and I got the one from the new apartment. So I budgeted in, okay, I might have to pay extra utilities just this one time. And I wanted the extra money for it. So it's a lot of time, it's a lot of effort, it's very stressful. It took me a full week to unpack this entire apartment and get it to what I wanted it to look like. I'm like, why am I gonna go through all this to get just a slightly nicer apartment that for an extra $600? And I'm noticing like a lot of the apartments in my neighborhood, I found this one, like this was a hidden gem and I'm so glad I found it. The cheapest one I found was $1,600. I paid $1,350. I'm not going anywhere. So actually right now my rent is like 21% of my income right now. My total housing cost I think is like 23. So in keeping my biggest expense super low, I was able to accomplish so many things. If you guys have any like numbers or ideas of how much money I should save, because I know I need to pay for the down payment, closing costs are a thing too. If I want to buy some new furniture for my new place, and then of course like I gotta save a little extra money for the movers and the U-Haul and all the other things. That's gonna be a process. But I'm reaching my late 30s and I really want a home. I want a home. So I want to get that. That's another goal. I am tired of wearing contacts and glasses. I'm really tired of it costing me $900 a year. One of my smaller goals is to save up money to get LASIK eye surgery. My sister got LASIK eye surgery and it was a success, and she can see perfectly without her glasses. And like, she really loved that she got LASIK eye surgery. So I want to get LASIK eye surgery too. I think quality of contacts has gone down in the last 2 years. Tell me why I open up a new pack, like a new contact, and it rips within the week, but it's supposed to last 2 weeks. So I get the bi-weekly ones, so change them out every 2 weeks. Why are they ripping after a week? I actually have to buy more for my left eye because they all ripped. I don't understand why. It's very frustrating. And also like when I take them out, sometimes they fall. There was one time I took it out and then it fell out of my finger and I had the water running and it went down the drain. I'm like, I can't do this. This week I was struggling with my contacts. It was taking me 5 minutes to put them in. If you own contacts, you know they take 30 seconds to pop in. And it's just, I'm just over it and I'm done. I don't want to wear contacts anymore. I don't want to wear glasses anymore. I'm sick and tired of spending $900 a year on the eye exam, the contacts, and the glasses. The LASIK eye surgery, depending, can be $4,000 to $6,000. So after like 5 years, the investment pays for itself. So that's another goal that I would like to have for the future. So right now I'm still a high school PE teacher at my current school, but like I said, things are really weird right now. So I don't know what's going on with the network the next school year. Don't know what's going on with the next school year. So we're gonna see what happens. So I would love to say that I'm still debt free and I'm still on this journey and things are still great, but I am unfortunately back in debt. This is what happened. So cars, y'all know how cars are money drainers, right? Y'all are probably gonna judge me for this decision. Honestly, I already made the decision. So let me just tell y'all what happened. In December, my car needed some work. My car is 11 years old at this point. So it's old, parts need to be replaced. I thought it needed a new battery, it needed a new alternator, a new timing chain. It definitely needed an oil change, and it might have needed a couple of other things. So I thought like, okay, so all of this was gonna probably cost like $2, $3, a couple grand. I'm at the point in my life where like a $3,000 car expense wasn't gonna make me cry. And I thought that was a big accomplishment because that would make a lot of people cry. $1,000 car repair would make a lot of people cry. But I'm like, I can take $2,000, $3,000 is a hit I can take. And then life said, hold my beer. It was so much worse. My car needed a new engine. I'm actually not joking. So when I told people this story, they said transmission. I'm like, no, engine. They said, no, transmission. I'm like, excuse me, I'm not stupid. Engine. I'm not like super knowledgeable about cars. I know the basics. Like, no, it needed a new engine. When the manager called me, and I trust him because he's an old family friend and he's literally been taking care of my car since I was like 20. So for the last 16 years, not this car. So both of my cars, my Chevy Cavalier and my Chevy Equinox that I own right now. So he called me. Unfortunately, this little one was barking, so I really couldn't hear the entire explanation, but the timing chain jumped and ruined the whole engine. Okay, so my 3 options were buy a used engine for $7,000, which, the warranty, there was a warranty. I think that's pretty much it. And then the new engine was gonna cost $9,500. Now, since it's a brand new engine, it comes with a 100,000 mile warranty. So for the next 100,000 miles, whatever maintenance the engine needs is covered. So oil changes, like I don't have to pay for oil changes for the next 100,000 miles. And so any maintenance, I think, like the struts, the brakes, like those are things that I would still have to pay for, but engine repairs are covered under that warranty. And then of course, the third option was to call my car a total loss. Probably wasn't even worth the trade-in. So I would probably start from scratch, go to a dealership and get a new car for $50,000 at a 10 to 11, well, with my credit score at that time, 5 to 6% interest rate for the next 6 or 7 years. I made the decision to buy the new engine. So I really thought about my priorities and what I really wanted out of life for me over the next couple of years. What I really wanted was to continue saving as much money as possible, continue investing into my Roth IRA because I'm behind on retirement. I didn't know this until I checked my pension a couple of weeks ago. So we'll get into that soon. And I also wanted to, I want to buy a home over the next couple of years. If I got a new car, it was going to eat up a giant chunk of my income because insurance, guys, full coverage for my car. And so I have renters and car insurance bundled, and I still have full coverage. And I'm keeping that full coverage because I just got the new engine. It's $108 a month for me right now. I don't want to give that up. If I got a new car, I think the insurance would have gone up $200-$300. So these are things that people don't think about when they're buying a new car. They just look at the car payment and then don't think about the gas, the maintenance, the insurance, the registration, all of the other things that come with it. So that is why I talked to my dad as soon as I got the news. And I'm like, well, I don't know what to do. How am I going to pay for this? Because at that time, $10,000 was all I had in my savings. If I had paid for this out of pocket completely, my entire savings would have been drained and I would have had nothing. Not nothing. I still would have had $4,000, but honestly in that moment, and I know emotion should not play a part in finances, but they do. We have to just accept that, they do. Worked so hard for this was in December, so I had worked so hard for the last 5 years to save up that $10,000, and then in one fall swoop, everything went away. I'm pretty certain a lot of you are not going to agree with this, so I did choose to go back in debt to pay for this engine. So this is what I did. I initially was going to put this on my Amex Gold credit card because my Amex Gold credit card doesn't have a limit. So I obviously had the space for it on there. And then they have a Planet feature. So any big purchase, I could click the Planet feature and then they would lower the interest rate to 7%. And then it would only accrue 7% interest every month instead of the normal 20 something, which 7% is still kind of a high interest rate. So I was talking with my dad. I mean, honestly, my dad's actually, the first thing he said was, well, Mija, why don't you just get a new car? And I'm like, no, I don't want a new car. No, I don't. The new cars now are crap. They're breaking down after driving for 100 miles. No, not 100,000 miles, 100 miles. The parts are made out of plastic, they're shit. So I explained this to him and I'm like, no, I'm not paying $50,000 for a piece of plastic. I'm not doing it. And my aunt said the same thing. She's like, well, why don't you just get a new? I'm like, no, I don't want a new car. I don't. I essentially kind of got a new car because my car got a new engine. That's why I made the decision. So I took out a new credit card, a new Chase credit card, because I didn't know where to go. And I'm like, well, I already have a Chase checking account. So let me just ask for a credit card from Chase. And of course, there's 0% interest for the next 15 months. And when I applied, they gave me an $11,200 limit. So after taxes, the engine, the labor, and then the taxes, the total cost ended up being $10,500. So this is the plan to pay it off. Originally planned, when I finally paid off grad school and I was done with it, I decided to put minimum $1,500 into savings every month to save for the 6-month emergency fund. And then the rest was gonna go to my Roth IRA because I really wanted to start investing more and then maxing out my Roth IRA every year. So what I decided to do was I'm gonna take that $1,500 that I had planned for savings and I'm splitting them in two. $750 goes to the car, $750 goes to savings. Now, For those who don't know, I work 2 jobs. I work part-time as a group exercise instructor for the Chicago Athletic Clubs. So sometimes, I teach more classes and I make more money. And sometimes I don't teach more classes and then I don't make more. Oh yeah, I was really low on classes this month. So I was looking at my paycheck and I'm like, why is it that small? And looking back, I didn't teach that much extra. So that's why some months, anyway, I think in March I am teaching a lot of classes. So, and then I decided, if there was any extra besides the $1,500 for the savings and then maxing out my Roth IRA, 1 month I'll put the little extra money to the car, and then the next month I'll put a little extra money to the savings. So this month, I think I put a little extra to the car. So next month, the car is gonna get the $750 minimum, the savings is gonna get everything else. And then the next month after that, the savings is gonna get the $750 minimum, the car is gonna get everything else. I also did submit all my paperwork for my taxes. So I don't know what number I am in line, so I just submitted them online and I called the office and they're like, yeah, we received everything. They asked me a few questions and I'm like, okay, well, we'll let you know when Roger gets to it. So Roger is currently has my taxes, so we're gonna see if I do get a refund. Last year I only got $200, maybe $300. I was very sad. And then an accountant put into perspective for me, so she comes to my classes and she said, okay, listen, I know you're a little sad about the $300. She's like, but think of it this way. That means that they did it right. So they took out the correct amount of taxes out of your paychecks. Really think about it. If you don't get a refund and you don't owe anything, then you paid your correct amount of taxes for that year. And I'm like, oh yeah, that is true. It makes sense. It makes sense. So last year I was really sad about my $300, but it's okay. As long as I don't owe, I don't know. I made a shit ton of money last year. It was 93 net. Or was it 96 net? One of the two. Net. Yes, that's right. I said it. Net. I did get a pay raise at work with my second master. So I am now master's plus 30. So next year, my gross pay for my teaching job would be a little over $100,000. I would have to look in the contract to see by how much. But yeah, so I got a little pay bump this year. And then, so this year I went up a step. Next year, I'm going to go up a lane. I don't want to explain that because I'm going to get lost and confused. So that has what's been going on in my life. My life has been crazy. Don't talk about good things happening in your life because life will say, hold my beer. You can pay $3,000 emergency. Don't worry. I got you. I'm going to hit you with a $10,500 emergency. Oh, that was awful. That was so awful. But right now I am making progress on that credit card. I have $8,300 left on it. So it's going smoothly. I remember when I first told my dad about how much money, he thought I was only going to put $200-$300. I'm like, Dad, no. So he asked me, he's like, okay, so what was your plan? I'm like, okay, so the minimum I'm going to put, if I put $750 a month, that'll get me to 14 months. And he looked at me because the number 750 scares him. And he was going to say, well, why don't you pay less? And then I said, Dad, the reason why I said 750 is because 750 is 14 months. So I'll pay it off just before the 15th month mark hit. I do not want to pay interest on all that interest on $10,500. No. That was the whole point, to not pay interest. That's life right now. So the plan is I'm going to keep teaching. Hopefully, I don't know what's going on with my network and my district. Things are weird, like I said. So we'll see what goes on for next year. But I am currently hopefully gonna fill my 6-month emergency fund by September. And then I can start saving for my home. And then I really want to get the car paid off by the end of the year. And I do want to max out my Roth IRA. Currently, my Roth IRA is getting $500 a month. I know to max it out, it's $625, but debt first, my opinion, because then it just frees up a whole bunch of extra money. And then my retirement, oh my gosh, you guys, I checked my teacher pension thinking it had way more money in it than it did. I only have $53,000 in that pension, and I'm 35. So between my pension, I have $53,000 in there. I have a 401k that's just there, and it's, getting interest too. So that currently has like $6,000. So that's what, $59,000. My Roth IRA has $7,000 in it. So that's $66,000. And I'm 35. I need to start ramping up retirement because this isn't gonna work. At this rate, I'm only gonna have 200 grand to retire off of. And I don't want that, I want more. So the plan for this channel is I wanna start making finance videos again. And I also wanna take you guys into my life because, you know, life choices does affect finances. For example, last month, I spent $623 on food. For one person, that's bad. That wasn't even takeout. That was just food from the grocery store. And then this month I made it a goal to bring that bill down, and I'm currently sitting at like $430. So we're doing much better. I discovered Aldi's. So Jewel is a 5-minute walk from my apartment. Aldi's is a 5-minute drive. I did pay for convenience, but now I'm gonna make an effort to go to Aldi's and try to shop from there because it is just so much cheaper. The food that I got the last time I went, it was a shit ton of food for $50. I still have some of it. That was 2 weeks ago. So every other month, I know people like to make New Year's goals. I really don't because I just can't stick to them. So every other month I want to do a financial goal, and then every other month I want to do a personal goal. So February I had a financial goal. March, I want to do a personal goal. So for this month, I want to actually physically read my TBR. I told you guys my bookshelf is getting out of control. It is. I want to physically read more. I do listen to a lot of audiobooks. So I want to like sit down and read. So I typically put 15 books on my TBR. So for the month of March, I want to physically read 10 of them, which is hard, you know, working 2 jobs, but I did it before and I can do it again. All right, everyone, be on the lookout. I'm gonna see if I can post like a financial video on Tuesday and a lifestyle video on Thursday. And if you have any ideas for me, please send them on over. Yeah, I'm glad to be back. It's been a wild and crazy ride. It's been a wild and crazy ride. And it's really hard to be like a normal person right now, you know, 35, like in the mid 30s, working, still in an apartment, just trying to make it by. So hopefully I'll have my 6-month funded this year, pay off the car engine this year, and then start saving for my future home this year too. And I'm really hoping in the next year or 2 I can get into my first home. I really hope so. All right, everyone, thank you all so much for watching. If you made it to the end of this video, congrats to you. You are the real MVP. Good for you. What emoji? Leave a paw emoji or a dog emoji for, you know, this. Oh, there she is, my special one. Yay. Oh, baby, I know. Thank you all for watching. Bye.